Welcome, welcome. It is day 2 of the Quantum Sales Growth Summit. We are so excited to have you. I'm just going to real quick make a couple members of my team co-hosts. There we go. All right, y'all. Today is going to be so good. If my team can help manage the waiting room and let people in as they're coming in, that would be fabulous. Thank you so much. All right. We are, hold on, my team told me to live stream on YouTube and I'm trying to do it now. And we're gonna do this really quick. Nope, we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna record because that's gonna take too much energy. All right, it's okay. We got this. I want to hear from those of you who were here for day 1. What is your biggest takeaway? What is your biggest takeaway from what we talked about yesterday? I know we spoke a lot about the energy of turning your annual income into your monthly income. We talked about shifting energy around money being available to receive as well. So I would love to hear from those of you who are here live. And I know that some of you are also here new today for the first day. So welcome for those of you who are. But what did you take with you in terms of turning your annual income into your monthly income? Barry, receiving, that is beautiful and brilliant, my friend. And that's something that we spoke
Yeah.
about today. Yeah, go ahead. You want to
It
do
used to be
it?
like a guilty thing, like I should be
Ooh,
focused on doing,
yeah.
not receiving. Yeah.
That's so good. That's so, so good. I really, really love the men in our community who are leaning into receiving. And I was sharing yesterday on the call, like multiple men in our community have come to me, or like I know you've been working with Laura as well and been in the energy of like, I know I get to tap into what it looks like to tap into feminine energy. Like I haven't been taught that. I don't know that. And the women in our community are doing that too. Like we all are learning how to receive on a deeper level and scale. So it's so powerful. Who else? Who had a takeaway, something from yesterday that stuck with you? We talked about opening up to what life looks like when your annual income is your monthly income, when you have stepped into receiving more, as Barry shared. Angela Smith, I'm going to call you out to share your takeaway from yesterday because I know you were here yesterday. What stood out for you from what we talked about?
Yeah, I think so I wrote down a couple things. I think just like your personality becomes your personal reality. I know you shared that from Joe Dispenza. I really like that. And just a reminder to like tune in to the version of who you are. I did do the exercise last night and it was just like I think what's so interesting is we know a lot of this, right? But we either don't act on it or we kind of like I don't know, like come up with excuses not to live it. So
Mm,
I just think like sometimes like the reminders and the being inspired by other people to kind of like give us the boost to
yeah,
really like move forward. And
yeah.
when I did the exercise, like um you realize like how many excuses we use not to move forward.
Mm, that's big.
Yeah, like and fear is definitely a huge piece of it.
Yeah. I think that's a really, really huge awareness. And, we were just on a call with our mastermind, the 50K club. Some of you were on there where we were talking about like at every single level, you get to revisit these principles, but in a different way.
Yeah,
So it never ends. Like we were talking about, when you get to the point where it requires 100K a month to run your business and your life, like the principles of tapping into abundance are still the same. You're just playing with different numbers. And then when it requires more. So it's always an evolution. There's always growth. There's always expansion. And you can come back to the same principle again and
yeah,
again and have different eyes. I remember Laura Grabovoi, you shared this with me with one of the money modules in the 10K club a while back that you went back to and you were like, oh my gosh, I took this years ago, but now I'm coming back with a totally different perspective. So that's what happens when we really become a student of this on
yeah.
a deep, deep level.
Yeah. I think the
Yeah.
other thing was that your heartfelt desires are green lights. Like
Yeah.
because I like know what I want to do, right? But it's like trusting and giving yourself permission to actually go after those things that
Mm,
maybe are look a little bit different than what your professional track has looked like.
yeah. Yeah. I've learned so much, and we'll talk about this today because we're gonna talk about money and wealth energetics, like we spoke about yesterday. We're also gonna weave in more of the masculine and feminine energy. I have learned so much to pay attention to what lights me up and follow that. And it a lot of times it defies logic or it
Yeah.
defies the quote unquote reasonable thing to do. But I found how many of you all have found that when you just pay attention to that and trust that, like things flow, right? Flow is our word for yesterday that people kept bringing up. Things flow very differently when one of my clients talks about like following the excitement, when we follow that, when we let that be our guide. So really, really good takeaways. And share in the chat. If you're coming in now and you were here yesterday, I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway was. And I'd also love to hear from all of you. Like, what are you most excited about for day two? We're talking about wealth energetics. We're talking about masculine, feminine energetics. We're going to do some cool kind of embodied experiences for you today, too. And today I have a very special co host. So I want to invite Brandon Hanley, who is my dear friend. He is our men's mastermind coach. A lot of you may know him already. Some of you may not know him already, but he lives, breathes, embodies this work. He's been behind the scenes building out this incredible membership that I shared with all of you about yesterday as well. So he's going to be co-presenting with me today and tomorrow, which I'm really excited for. But Brandon, do you want to come off mute and say hello and introduce yourself to the group?
Yeah, hi. So glad. Like Elise and I have been working on this since I think the beginning of the year. And it's funny because Elise and I were just taking a look at what we're going to share with you later today. And I think Elise, this might have been the first time you've actually been able to see a full gamut of all that's available. What started off with, quite honestly, like hey, let's pull this together and offer them something and put something together that's going to support you and your growth and all the awesome work that you're doing turned into like this full-fledged uh I can't tell you like how much value is going to be in there for you, but it's turned into this amazing program. And Lisa's like what are you feeling today coming in here? I'm like, I'm just like everybody's seen that meme, right? Where like the guy's like just got his hands and like who is that? I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head, but like the meme where he's just like going like this. Gotta say, that's how I'm feeling today. I'm just so excited, like a kid being able to unveil what it is that we have here for you today. So and like Elise said, we've been connected for it hasn't been a decade yet, but like it's on like, if I was in a relationship with somebody else like my wife, and I'd say it's been a decade, right? It's been a decade of us working with each other in one way or another, being in contact. And so finally being able to do this together is super exciting. Super exciting. So glad to be here with Elise and so glad to be here with the rest of the group and anybody who's watching later.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I feel like the energy, like that excitement, like that's your personality all the time. I feel like you're always that, which I love. And so if you haven't had the opportunity to work with Brandon or to hear him speak, you're going to really enjoy it these next 2 days. And again, he is the mastermind behind this beautiful new membership that we're launching. And Brandon, do you want to share just a tiny bit? Because we've got a lot to cover today, but I think maybe just a little bit of your journey in this work. And y'all, Brandon he's a corporate sales powerhouse. Like he does the thing in corporate selling, he knows how to do it,
Yeah.
but he also really embodies the principles that we teach in superhuman selling of what happens when we combine sales, science, and spirituality. And we use those principles to quantum leap. So maybe just like 2-ish minutes of your background, like what you believe in here, and then we'll lead into the training for the rest of the day.
Sure. Like Elise said, and again, I'll just kind of go back to when we first connected because that was right about when I entered into this personal professional growth period of my life. So nearly a decade ago, picking up some materials and started to lean into it, TED Talks. But one of the first things that kind of came about, and I still remember, I was reading a Zig Ziglar book, See You at the Top, and in that book, it talked about investing in yourself. And of course, who did I meet? But Elise Archer, right, along the path, and this was at a local meetup, and it it dawned on me that if I wanted to make the progress that I wanted to make at that point in time, I was going to need to invest in myself, right? And the investment, even then, it wasn't like I'm putting money out there to buy something. I'm putting money into myself because I believe in myself, right? That was one of the biggest kind of takeaways of that space. And through that process, shortly thereafter, I ended up calling Elise because through the work that I was doing, all this personal development and yeah, it was professional development in sales as I was growing in there. I'd had a spiritual awakening and I still remember calling Elise up. And I don't know why I decided like let's call Elise and let her know. Like we knew each other for I don't know, 15 hours at that time, give or take the amount of time that we spent with each other. But I was like, she's gonna want to know about this. And so I called her up and I let her know and Elise being Elise is like, yeah, tell me more about that. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about it. And from there I think that everybody's familiar with the Steve Jobs line is you can only connect the dots going backwards. And I was able to, um, as I landed in that space, connect the dots of other successful people and successes that I'd had in my life going backwards and pull in these spiritual experiences. And we're talking about letting go, letting the universe provide for us. I think in just the previous conversation that we were in earlier today, right, Elise? And so really leaning into that and pulling it all together with massive studies, just like we're doing in the four quadrants with Elise, and just being able to package it all up and deliver it to other people so that and I've got this line called up because oh, Angela, you were just talking about it, right? It's a quote that I close a lot of my breathwork sessions with, and most people are probably familiar with the Marianne Williamson's "Our Deepest Fear" quote. But the piece here is like, uh, the same light is in everybody, and as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. So all we're doing here is coming in and we're shining and giving people permission to do the same, and that's going to lead to massive gains for you, hopefully, right? That's why you're here. There's something in you that says, "Hey, I resonate with something going on here, and I would like to shine my light." So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Thank you. And I think what's so fun is we lead today and we launch this membership together and having you as, the important part of the company where I'll share this for everyone because I think it helps us all just trust and kind of like following the path. Um, Before Brandon was on the team, I had a knowing that he would be on the team. And this was like when we hadn't talked in quite some time because we'd moved different states and we just hadn't really been in touch for several years. But I saw him and I had this knowing, and I was like, he is going to be a big piece of the superhuman selling team. And I kind of gave it up to the universe. I was like, all right, whenever, however it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. Long story short, here he is as part of the team, and it came about in a really organic way where he reached out to me last year. You were like just happened to be in Maine, and we got coffee, and I was like, all right, here we go. I could tell it was time for us to start talking about how he could be part of the team and what that would look like, and even cooler synchronistic moment. Like I knew that. So Laura Grabavoy, she's here on this call. She's my right hand. She's my integrator. She leads a lot of our community calls, and she and Brandon are both the head coaches on our team, aside from me and what I do. So I had this knowing that they would be good friends and that they would work closely together. And come to find out, Laura shared this with us earlier this year, that she had seen Brandon, your face came to her in a meditation, I think years before you two ever met in, in person, which is just wild and fun. And so I share all of that to say that, yesterday we spoke about how your results will never supersede your identity. And so each of you is in here because you're here for bigger results in your life. Not that there's anything wrong with where you are now, but because you recognize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, you are constantly evolving, you are constantly expanding, you are constantly wanting to grow in your desire for more, for fuller expression, not from any place of lack or not enoughness in where you are right now, but from a place of, I want to experience how expansive and abundant life can be. And there's a self-concept and an identity of you that gets to come out and express at the level of you living out your fullest, most abundant, expansive business and life that is different than where you are right now. And that version is more expansive, is more open, probably has even deeper faith. We talked a lot about faith on our mastermind call today. Not faith in any, not necessarily in a religious sense, but in a spiritual sense, whatever that looks like for you. Faith that you're that you're on your path, that you're going to be provided for, that you're taken care of. Faith in yourself as well. And so that version of you is different. And leaning into saying yes myself for everything that we're building, that version of me got to be way more open to partnerships, to collaborations, to trusting God, source, universe would provide and bring together the right people, and to have the identity and the self-concept of someone who can help move the energy at that level and hold the energy at a higher level of more people collaborating and doing things on a bigger scale. And so it's just so fun to get to be here in this moment, like kind of feeling that same energy, like you said, Brandon, and here we are, because this is something that was in a vision, in a meditation. This is something that was seen years before it actually happened, and here it is. And so I say all of that just to encourage each of you before we get any further today to really remember, like Angela said, that one of our core tenets in this community is that your desires are green lights. And you do not need to know the how, nor do you need to micromanage the process, but you do need to be available to say yes. You do need to be available to pull the thread, to let it unfold, to take the uncomfortable actions. You know, I spoke about yesterday one of my clients and one of our community members having her $90,000 week last week, and she shared on our mastermind call this morning about how even in all of that receiving, there was still discomfort. There was still a lot of discomfort of like, oh, I'm doing stretchy things. I'm saying yes to things I used to not say yes to. I'm taking a lot of action in faith. I'm showing up at a different level. So there is discomfort that happens as you ascend. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's okay. But when we know these principles, and when you understand universal law, when you understand the principles of abundance, when you learn how to tie in and loop in sales with science and spirituality, I think it's a very different experience of the expansion. And that's what we're here to help you do. So with all of that being said, let's talk. So here's what I want to do. I want to share a couple of principles around wealth energetics. We spoke yesterday about up-leveling your financial thermostat. And so one of the four quadrants of quantum sales growth, if all of you, some of you remember from yesterday, some of you are new here today, but we teach a method called the four quadrants of quantum sales growth, or the four M's for short. One of them is money. How do you quantum leap your sales? You shift your relationship with money. You up-level your financial set point. You make what used to feel big feel small, feel normal, feel natural. That's how I tell people, like, if let's say that someone's working on going from 5K months to 10K months or 20K months, or maybe you're going from 20K months to 100K months. How do you know that it's on its way? Because you have done the inner work to naturalize and normalize the amount. And whatever it is, feels natural, normal, and expected before it lands in your bank account. That's how it works. So there's processes that we can do in order to up-level our financial set point. And that's a big piece of what you will learn in the membership and what we teach in the four quadrants and in our community. But I want to share just a little bit today. There's a little bit of teaching around this. This is probably, I feel like I say this with a lot of things, but I do feel like this is one of my favorite things to teach. I love, 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 love teaching money, the energy of money, wealth energetics. I think it's really important, beautiful work. So let's talk about, let me see where I want to start with all of you. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to talk about the energy of money here. Hold on one moment. So as I'm sharing this, I want you to think back to what we spoke about yesterday. Can you all see my screen okay? Yeah. Okay, good. I want you to think back to what we spoke about yesterday. The idea of turning your annual income into your monthly income. All right. So think about what that amount is. Now, if you're being honest, does it feel big or small right now when you think about receiving that amount every single month? Just type it in the chat. And it's totally okay if it feels big right now. I would kind of expect it because it's new and you haven't necessarily aligned with it yet, and that's okay. So let's see here. Yeah, I get a lot of comments of it feels big right now. Yes. So beautiful awareness, really good awareness. Even for myself right now, as I think about turning my current annual income into my monthly income, that amount, if I'm honest, it feels big right now, and that's okay. It doesn't feel as big as it used to because I've been doing the work on this, but it still feels a little big. So that's how I know I'm not yet quite a match for that. And that's okay. But when it still feels big to us, we know that there's something in our psyche that hasn't fused with it yet. There's something in our psyche that like hasn't accepted it or is still making it bigger than us. So there's processes that we can use specifically around the energy of money to normalize it and to naturalize it. I remember Catherine Zankina, who has the Manifestation Babe podcast and brand, and I think her stuff is great. She talked about the energy of pass the salt. Like, what is really normal? You talk about like manifesting energy or creating energy. It would be if you have the energy, the same energy that you have if you're sitting at the dinner table and someone says, "Hey, could you please pass the salt?" Or you ask someone to pass the salt. You want to have that same energy when you're calling in $1 million month. You want to have that same energy when you're calling in your new opportunity, your new business. That's the energy. That is it. It is normal. It is natural. It doesn't feel strange outside of you. So I like to think about money in terms of energy and in terms of circulation. So I used to hoard. I used to sit on money. I used to not want to spend it. I would feel uncomfortable. I would go into guilt and shame and fear when it was time to pay my bills or to spend money. Who in here can relate to that? Just nod your head or drop a 1 in the chat if you can relate to that. Like so much, because look at money is root chakra. So it's linked to survival. Even in our nervous systems, there's programming that it's linked to survival. So what we have to do, and I'm even kind of thinking through this in a different way right now as I'm teaching it, it actually makes a lot of sense though. So this is fun. Y'all get to be part of something new that I never taught quite this way before. So money being root chakra, being linked in our nervous systems many times to survival, what we want to do is actually move it into the energy of the divine, into the energy of, we talked about on our mastermind call, this book, Money is God in Action. I know because I've got my portrait lighting on here. So there we go. Money is God in Action. Um, this is how I think about money now. It's very different than how I used to think about money. When I came at it from a survival consciousness, from a lack consciousness, doesn't matter what's in the bank, doesn't matter what you sell that month, doesn't matter if you just had your biggest month ever as an entrepreneur, you can still feel lack, right? And we live in such an abundant universe that you can experience an abundance of lack if that's what you're focused on, because whatever we focus on is going to magnify. That's how it works. But so when I came at money from that lens of scarcity and survival, you can even feel in your body, right? There's a nervous system grip. And Brandon, maybe we have time today to do a little breath work so people can even feel a nervous system reset around that. I think that would probably be really powerful for today. And I'd love if you could guide us through that. But as we shift our consciousness and as we rewire our beliefs and our understanding around money, and as we can look at sales and business as an energetic exchange. I think about it as a spiritual exchange, as a divine exchange where I am flowing out resources and I'm saying thank you, whether I'm paying a team member, whether I'm purchasing something new. And Barry, to your point earlier of getting great at receiving, we will only receive the amount of money we feel comfortable receiving. And you all may have heard me say this yesterday, your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. So if you would like to make more money in your business or your sales, you get to notice what part of me isn't currently feeling worthy of receiving $1 million or $1 million a month, maybe if that's your goal or target. What part of me isn't feeling worthy of having more? And that's nervous system reset as well. That's opening up to receive more as well. That's seeing yourself as an expression of the divine, knowing that the more that you expand in this lifetime and the more that you are the fullest expression of you, the more you're living out your divine purpose, the more you're blessing other people, and that money is simply fuel and energy to support you in doing that. So I see money now as a divine exchange. I see it as something that I allow to flow in and out of my life. I find as my consciousness increases, the amounts that flow in and out are bigger. So that's the game. So it's nothing is big or small. It just is. But there was a time in my life when I couldn't, 100K a month would have been like, what in the world? Like, I can't imagine it. Now that feels default standard normal, and we're doing more than that. So I say that to say that it's just shifts in consciousness, but the keeping the relationship with the money as one of divine spiritual exchange to me is really important and key. And so if we play with the idea of money as your breath, I want you to just think about the energy that you're in as you breathe in on this call right now and you breathe out, right? None of you were really thinking about it until now. It's just something that's happening automatically. You expect and you know that when it's time to take a breath in, it's going to be there. When you exhale, when you release, you don't feel guilt or shame. You don't think, oh, I shouldn't have let it go. Maybe there's not going to be more. You just release. Your body didn't need it anymore, right? You're releasing the waste, what's no longer going to be fueling or supporting you. I want you to start thinking about money as that. All right. And in terms of playing with higher numbers and higher frequencies, that's part of where the old personality, new personality model that we talked about yesterday is so big and so important. So you start to play with, all right, for the version of me, maybe you're currently making 10K a month in your business or in your sales, and you want to go to 25 or you want to go to 50. You use your analytical mind to say, from the end result, me at that level, well, what amount of money am I actually paying off on my credit card every month? Like, how much am I spending on team? I remember the first time I had a monthly invoice for my team that was like, I don't know, 30 grand, something like that. There was part of me that was like, oh, that like it felt like a lot in the moment. And then I went to the end and I said, well, at least at $1 million months, which is what we're currently aligning with, like that's nothing. Like that's a steal. That's like one team member. And it was a total reframe. And so from there, you can shift it. So you can go to the end result and start thinking as the new version of you, the version of you who is receiving consistently, automatically the amount that you're calling in. And you're going to reframe your current circumstances. And what maybe once felt big now feels small. Does that make sense? So you start to think about it through a different lens. Brandon, do you want to speak to a little bit of maybe moving into how do we integrate the feminine energy of flow with money, with our sales, with our business? I actually love having you specifically teach this as a man. I think this is great. And then I think you have maybe like a short breath work that you can take us through before we're actually going to take you all on an inside look at the new membership today. So we want to share that with you. But before we do that, I'd love if you could share those beautiful
Yeah,
things.
no, absolutely, right. Especially, and when we talk masculine and feminine, we're not talking male and female. But what we're talking about is we're talking about like maybe structure versus flow, or I think you would put it in what we're going to talk about today, a little bit about power and flow. When we are coming at something with maybe too much masculine energy, we put too many like boundaries on it sometimes, and it's almost where we choke off source, right? Where we choke off, like we've got a set outcome when we're looking at how something has to come out. We put up all these guardrails that we can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. It's got to be done just like this. We're leaving ourselves open for like all we can do is hit the bullseye. We can't like there's a whole freaking board there for us to hit, right? So when we're too much in our masculine, that's all we can do. We get in like this kind of like hyper focused space. When we lean back, right? Elise will talk about it as this lean back energy. But when we talk about feminines, it's about like maybe nurturing, especially in sales, right? We want to nurture it. We don't want to force somebody down. We want to open them up to it. We want to come there as a place of service, right? We don't want to come as like, if they don't get this done, I might not be able to take my kids to, this vacation. So they've got to sign today because we're doing this thing, right? And so we need to kind of just step back and let it kind of unfold. And I think, again, coming at this from just other perspectives, there's a Buddhist line that talks about you cannot accelerate the blossoming of a bud by pinching on it, right? So let it kind of unfurl on its own. Now, Will you guide it? Yes. Will you tend to it? Yes. Another line that's very prominent in the work that we do here with Elise, right? There's the and Rich, I think you were on the call yesterday. I said it yesterday, right? The riverbank is what creates the river, right? The flow, the energy is all there. We provide a way for it to work, and ideally, we allow that same flow and energy to work through us so that we can be of service to others. And then if we want to go ahead, and I think that's good enough for now for today, I think, Elise. And why don't we go ahead? We can go ahead and pull into just a little bit of a breath work, and there's definitely all kinds of science behind this. It's so funny. I had this conversation yesterday with ChatGPT while I was on the road, just digging into the different science nuances of this, because a lot of times it can sound like, fluff. It can sound hairy-fairy is some of the terminology that gets kicked around out there. But if we go and we pull in the science, you'll see a lot of times that it's right in alignment with the outcomes. And so that's some of the stuff that we actually dig into in the program, and we'll dig into as we continue to develop the membership and expand on the membership. And I'm sure that we'll share it in other areas of the business as well. So go ahead, Elise, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share some background music for us, a little bit of background noise, as it were. Go ahead and get yourself comfortable. We'll play a little bit of forest background for us. Give me a thumbs up if we can hear this okay. We can hear it okay. Outstanding. I want you to close your eyes, unclench your jaw. Right, we got so much stuck there in our jaw. I want you to let your shoulders drop and let the weight of your day melt off your back. You don't need to hold anything right now. No titles, no roles, no pressure. This moment is yours. And I think that, as Angela said, we all kind of have this in our being. I want you to let yourself come back to your truth, the real you beneath the noise. As we tune into the signal and clear the static, I want you to go ahead and breathe with me for a moment. As we inhale through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do it again. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Then exhale one more time. 2, 3, 4. And then hold. 2, 3, 4. And now let your breath return to its natural rhythm. And I want you to picture this. You, fully aligned. You, clear, calm, and powerful. You are not chasing the outcome. You are the outcome. And I want you to feel into the version of you who already has what you're working toward. How do you show up on your next call, your next decision, your next moment? Let that version of you lead right now. I want to give you this affirmation that says, I lead with calm conviction. I move from clarity, not chaos. I'm not here to prove, I'm here to embody. I trust myself and I trust this moment. And the energy I bring is the result I create. And I want you to feel the truth of those words and don't just say them, anchor them with feeling, emotion, experience them in your body. And take one last full inhale through your nose and hold it. And exhale slowly through your mouth as you feel your feet on the ground. Roll your shoulders back and bring your awareness back to the room. You are not the same person who started this. You have reset your energy. You have reconnected to your truth. And as you come back out, you're ready. I want you to let you open your eyes gently as we move forward today and create from this energy.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Mm,
I love what you
yeah,
said. You're not chasing an outcome, you are the outcome. Isn't that powerful? Like, and it's so true. And I'll show this one thing if I can. We spoke about this on our mastermind call this morning, but when you stop chasing and seeking abundance outside of you and you realize it's something you generate from the inside out, from your consciousness, from what you expect for yourself, from who you are, money flows in, sales flow in, things are very different. We got to make that shift first. So I love that you shared that. Thank you.
yeah. No, I'm glad to be able, like I said, so excited to be here to do it.
Yeah.
This is the restrained version a little bit because otherwise I want to brand it all over the place. So again, super happy that we're here and doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing. And so for those of you who aren't yet part of the community, Brandon will often lead breath work at our events, and it's one of his many superpowers. But I think that's a piece that I love that you bring to our community, is it is part of that somatic experience and raising your financial thermostat and growing your sales, your income. It is about how much energy can your nervous system hold. It really is about recalibrating your nervous system to higher levels to be able to hold, to flow, to receive. So breath work is a powerful, powerful tool we can use to help do that. So thank you for that. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to take people on a little behind the scenes tour of what we got, what you've been building? I share
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
with
Let me
everyone.
let me go ahead. We'll go ahead and do that. So we'll go with screens, we'll go with application windows, and we'll go ahead and here share. So, um, I think a lot of people are familiar with other programs. I think that a lot of people have been through Thinkific, which is a great platform. A lot of people have also been on a number of communities, such as like Facebook, and it's built out in there. Challenge with that is that it can be really distracting, right? You go into Facebook, you've got ads, you've got they're tracking you everywhere, you've got other things that are popping up, and next thing you know, you're like, I came in here to like, manifest, and the only thing I manifested was I bought these shoes because they popped up in my feed, and right. So what we've done is that we've taken it to a private platform. It's called Circle, which is where it's going to be on. It's very similar to Thinkific or Kajabi if you're on one of those. However, in working with some of our other teammates, what is available in here is quite a bit more. So you're going to have feeds that are specific. You would come in here to Circle on your own. You'd be greeted with this type of feed. You can see some of the posts that are going on. You can click on and get right in there and be a part of the community. Right now we've got the introduction, super group or superhuman group. We've got the share your activation, which is a part of what you're doing. And then, your general community, which as we build ourselves out, that's where if you think about the rising tide lifting all ships, this is where we all get the opportunity to lift each other and raise each other and share what it is we're doing and really come together in there. Now, the core part of what it is that we're doing here, I'm going to click over here on this tab. It's going to be this superhuman selling membership material. And what I've done here in, you know, it's again very similar in vein to the materials that we work with in the four quadrants, just a different perspective. And to be quite honest with you, like, over the years, I've gone through so many different programs myself that didn't seem to have structure, or maybe they were too long, there was too much, and kind of hopefully taken some of the best applications over educational materials and programs and memberships I've been in the past. And I've also gamified it a little bit. Coming from a game, if you've ever played a game, most of the times you know what the desired outcome expectation is there. And then there's also different levels, and then you know what you're working towards. And here, yeah, we're looking towards manifesting or growing in our lives. And sometimes that can be tricky, right? You're like, well, just like we talk about the gestation period in some of our other materials, sometimes growth can be tricky to see in real time, right? And what we've done here is we've enabled you to see that in real time. Let me get this out of my way up here. How do I see here? We have, oh no. So look, we've got, oh, it's over here. Here we go. We can have a leaderboard, right? So you'll be able to see how it is that you're, growing in points and whys and where you kind of are in this space. So you'll visually be able to see yourself gaining points and growing in different levels, which is cool. But that's not the end result, right? The end result is that in the program, we've also got a rewards table available for you. So you'll be able to gain points and apply them towards merch or other supportive materials such as, one-on-one coaching sessions, right? We'll have on the monthly calls, we're going to have hot seat availability. Sometimes you might want to cut in line though, because there's going to be demand for that. So you can apply points to kind of cut in line and really get the help that you want and support that you need there. We're going to have full completion gift box. So you get through the entire uh, course of materials, you'll be able to receive this entire a package that's built exactly for you. And then finally, if once you finish the entire series, there's going to be more that goes beyond this, right? You'll be ready to go beyond. So I think that that's pretty cool. It's built out explicitly, like, there's no guessing. How do I get these points, Brandon? Well, here you go. It's kind of spelled out for you, which I think, again, is kind of nice, right? And then there's also specific milestones as you go through the materials, these different unlocks. Now, today and today only, or I think this release only, what some of the stuff that we're going to allow you to do is get access, instead of having you wait to get access to this AI co-creation studio and monthly calls. We're going to unlock some of this like immediately for the founders, which I think is Elise didn't tell me we are going to do that, but I'm like, fine, Elise, it's fine, we'll do it. But I think it's also super awesome. We really want to welcome you in to take advantage of what we have here to offer. So we talk a lot about identity, right? So the first section that you're going to go through is activating your kind of your identity and stepping into that alignment. How I've got these labeled and listed for you is again, just as in terms of energetics, right? Think about a phase, right, of the moon, or just any phases of a frequency, depending on how scientific you are and where you are in the science patterns. But got your phases energetics. And then we have transmissions, right? So a phase will be the top level. And for each one of those, I've taken a clip out of some of Elise's large catalog of material and just said, hey, you got about 4 minutes here that's going to really lean into what it is that we're covering in this material. And then, kind of gives you, what it is we're trying to cover here and takes you along the journey, right? And then for each transmission, you'll have these micro actions, right? And the way I like to think about this, and Rich got to hear a little bit about this from me yesterday, is I like to think about it like ionic propulsion. If you're not familiar with what ionic propulsion is, it's like when you go out into space and each like they have this ionic propulsion jet engine that each little tap adds on to the energy in space. There's no friction there. So each time you tap on something, it's additive to the energetic, right? So each one of these micro shifts and lessons and tools in here is going to be ionic propulsion engine. And by the time you're all done with it, you're gonna be flying through space. So we drive you through all of these materials, right? Each phase, transmissions, and I've got activations in here for you as well, where you also you anchored in, just like we did here a little bit earlier. Um, Activations, phases, and then a big part of the identity is sometimes we don't know yet what our identity is. If you ever taken and this isn't a direct take, but I mean, if you've ever taken a Briggs Myers, if you've ever done like a Standout 2.0 or your strengths assessment, I've created an assessment for you that will help you to determine, maybe what your are you a visionary, right, in sales? Are you a connector in sales? Are you a closer? Or are you an alchemist? And again, mapping this all out for you, and then building on top of that throughout the rest of this session, you'll have archetype specific challenges, right? That are gonna be available for you. This is the immediate following, and then again, activations immediately following that, and we continue to build on all the material. Elise, Elise looked in here and goes, wow, there's a lot in here. And so let me walk you through that too. So look, you're gonna go through an alignment. You want to become aligned to get to where you are, built out all that for you. Mindset mastery again, changing the operating system, worked out all this for you. The first section is lengthy, and that's going to allow you to get that foundation very similar to what we do already within the four quadrants. And then money alignment, right? We still want to talk about the wealth energetics. Um, we've got integration, activating, still masculine and feminine, just a little bit different than kind of what we've got there because this is its own program outside of the four quadrants. And then finally, let's add some of that structure that we're looking for, some of the strategies, some of the other stuff, because we don't we're in sales, we're in business. We still need to do some of that. And how do we bring that all together? And you'll have a nice close on all that. Again, your phases will have a nice clip from Elise. You can watch the full video if you want, but there's a 4-minute section that's going to really just dig into this particular phase and support it. And the reason why, and I'll let you know, personally, I've gone through other programs where there's a lot of material and it's all very good, but there's so many demands on our attention these days. Let's make it micro. Let's make it actionable. Let's give you something that, again, we're just going to add on to that energy that you're building up and the identity and the version of yourself that you're becoming. Now, this is all cool. Now, how much would you pay? So this is all fine and dandy. The other pieces that you're going to get with this is you're going to have a monthly call, right? We're going to have the hot seats. We're going to have themes throughout the month. So you don't just come here and be like, let's just, keep talking about all the material that's in the assignments, which is again, it's going to be great. As long as you go through it. And here's the approach that I suggest that you go through it. And there's a little story that goes behind it. Go in, maybe once a day, do the lesson, do the material, move forward only when you're ready. And if you try to binge it, you're unfortunately going to miss a lot of it, right? So the idea is come here. The material's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. The lesson's all going to be here. There's always going to be people here to support you. You're not beating someone to the end of the line by moving forward fast. There's a little story that comes out of a book that I've read, Are You Ready to Succeed? And it's kind of like, this monk shows up at the doorstep of, a guru, says, hey, I want to get enlightenment. Guru looks down at him and says, for you, I don't know, 10 years, right? And the monk's like, well, what if I double down on my reading, double down on the exercises, double down on the chores, double down on all the things, put all this extra energy into it? Then how long would it take? And he goes, 20 years. And he's like, what? Right? So sometimes it's just like what we're talking about here. Focus on who it is that you're becoming. as a part of this whole process, and you're going to be really amazed by what comes out of it. Let me scroll this down a little bit. So you're going to get all that. You're going to get the private community. You're going to get access to, again, being able to build all this out and being part of it. So while that's all very exciting, like I said, super exciting. Let me blow this up. We've also got a customized AI for this program, right? And what we have in here is we've taken all of Elise's superhuman selling podcast and materials that she has posted and available, pulled that into here, and pulling in all the membership materials. And I believe we'll also be able to pull in the community materials too. But I just want to give you a quick example of that, right? So we talked today about force and flow, magnetism versus manipulation, right? And all we want to do is ask, this community and this material that we've got, and Elise isn't available, right? I don't know, it's 4 a.m. and you're like, how do I figure this stuff out, right? Elise won't answer her text. It's 4 a.m. What the hell, man? So, we put this question in here. We give it a second to think, boopity boop, bop beep. And then, while that's going, I don't have any background music for while this happens, but so give this a moment to think, and then if you're not already using AI, I'm going to pop in a follow-up question like immediately to this. Now it's going through all the materials, and we've got I think about 56 podcasts and 110 lessons that it's trolling through right now, right? So here we go, from force to flow, some materials around it, core teachings. This is our micro lessons. It's going to take you to the direct lessons, and it'll take you to the direct materials, right, that will align with all of this. And maybe I'll say, hey, well, you know what? Well, you know what? Still struggling. Please help me out, as though the only thing I know is financial selling services. And we'll just give it a moment to kind of think. So all together, I think we've got a really beautiful package and a membership set up here for you that has real-time availability and access. You're going to end up getting, here we go, right? Uh, boop, boop, boop.
Right.
Integrate these into your work. Specific to you, which I think is beautiful too, because sometimes that's not available in some of our other areas of the program, or somebody's not speaking specifically to your area of business and alignment. You're like, well, you know what? This sounds really great, but would this really work in the financial industry? Would this really work in the construction industry? Would this really work in these industries? And if you can't wrap your head around it, that's okay. Sometimes this stuff can be like, it can feel like a lot, right? So use what's available to us. I love that we are here in this time and space where we have AI to say, hey, what if I want to use this in the financial services? So I think that's the quickest high level I can give over that before I stop sharing. Is there anything else I think, Elise, that you might have a question on, or the group might have a question on?
Yeah. No, I think this is phenomenal. I love getting to see you demo this live here as well. So this is really fun. And I shared this with everyone yesterday. So we were so excited to build out the membership. And I want to really acknowledge Brandon for everything that he's done to build this out. Because as you can tell, it's been a lot of time and effort and heart that he's poured into it. Traditionally, it has been, at least a 5-figure investment to come in and be in the community and to work with us. And what we wanted to do was create a way where maybe you're not ready for 10K club yet. Like you've been in our energy or my energy for a while and you're like, I know, like I want to be in 10K or I want to be a private client or whatever, but you're not ready for whatever reason. This is a way where you can come in, you can get in the material, you can shift, transform. I mean, oh my goodness, there's an AI built out with it. Like, hello, that's wild and fun, and I'm excited about that. And you get to be in the community as well. And I think that our community is second to none in terms of heart-led leaders, sales professionals, entrepreneurs, executives going for more, going for full abundance, full expression, going for their biggest impact. And being in that energy and that space will make a huge difference for you to be able to ascend with others who are also on this path with you. But what we've done and put together is put it together in a package and an offering that is, to me, it's a no-brainer investment. Like, it's just a no-brainer investment for the right person. And so we shared this with you yesterday. I'm going to put the link for the sign up in the chat. Now, for those of you who are current clients at 10K Club or above, you're getting access to this. So I just want to let you, like, we're going to give this to you. And I am very excited and grateful to be able to do that and appreciative of Brandon building this out. I don't know on the AI piece. We'll have to figure that out if that's included or what, but either way, we're giving, and Brandon and I will bring you all those details, but you're going to get the membership. For those of you who are not currently in our programs or in our community, I want you to go get the membership. I would strongly encourage you, get enrolled, get signed up. You'll see on that sign up page and this is only through the end of the month. And then it goes up. I mean, the investment normally is $197 a month, or it's $2,000 paid in full for the year. Like, it's a no-brainer. But for those of you who are here live with us, as we roll this out for the first time, we are doing a founders special of 50% off that you're locked in at. So that's with enrollment through the end of the month. You'll get, what is it on the monthly?
I gotta jump in there, right? Like,
Please.
so
Okay.
just listen, if you're not familiar with some other programs out there, and part of our job, I think, is to just kind of pay attention to the market, right? There are other programs out here that are kind of similar, that the AI itself is $100,
Mm,
right? To be a general member, like Elise has said here, it's a 5-figure plus investment to get access to a lot of the stuff that I'm pretty sure you're just giving it away today, right? And so for the cost of a CD, so like, I mean, this is it's the value. Again, thinking about, I'm thinking of Science of Getting Rich. If you guys aren't familiar with the book already, there's a little line in there. It says that the value that you're going to be able to extract from this, and it costs less than it took. I took my 2 kids and my wife out for like cheesesteaks and a burger last week, and it costs more than this, right? So I only throw that out there because I just think that the value there is amazing, and it's not just because I put it together. It's because of everything that you're going to be able to pull out of it. The community is going to be able to be there. The distraction-free community, access to the AI. I'll shut up, but there's a lot in there for you.
yeah, I think it's huge. So we wanted to create something that was accessible to everyone to allow you to get in and start transforming on your journey. So I can't recommend enough. Get in there, sign up, come be part of the community through that. The sign up link right now is 3daychallenge.elisearcher.com/membership. I've got my team creating one that is a little bit easier to say out loud because that's a long link, but it's in the chat. It's 3daychallenge.elisearcher.com/membership. You've got the option for both the monthly and the paid in full there. And again, I think it's a no-brainer. I want you to come get in there, come be with us, come be in the community. It's going to make a big difference for you, and you're going to have a very different level of support and approach towards your sales, towards your business, towards your goals. And you're going to be in a community of people who are really leveling up with you as well. So with that, I want to talk about tomorrow a little bit about what to expect, because we've got day 3 and it's going to be amazing. And Brandon is going to be here for that too. So like we mentioned yesterday, day 3, we are doing a hot seat coaching giveaway, but you got to be there and be present as well. So I would strongly, strongly encourage you, show up live, be there, be present. Brandon, tell everyone about what the follow-up is for today. What's the homework? What's the assignment for them to move the energy forward, aside from just like, come get in our community? I think that's, to me, that's a no-brainer, but tell everyone about what to be doing today into tomorrow to carry forward the energy from what we talked about today.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna reshare the audio that we did today to allow you to get back into that energy. We're gonna send out an energy audit and an embodiment anchor to you later today. So go through that. Be able to determine whether or not that you're in force or flow, and just figure out where you are. And just kind of like Elise is talking about in so many of our calls, all about awareness, right? Answer honestly and just try to figure out like, is your energy open, grounded, magnetic, or is it tight and pushing and grasping? Like we said earlier, around, too much masculine and how we can almost like choke off the energy, right? Are we allowing ourselves to receive that support from the universe that's always available? And like we're like, couldn't possibly be available for me. I've got this one way of seeing it, and that's the way it's got to happen, right? And sometimes we lock ourselves out to everything that's possible. So sharing that out for you. And then, we're gonna have like just this pause for 60 seconds, give yourself a round of box breathing and just ask yourself what flow would feel like right now. Gonna send that out shortly after today to everyone that's been in attendance so that you can do that and carry this energy on to tomorrow.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That'll be so good. Yesterday, so many people were like, I want to tap into flow. So this is going to help you so much with that. And tomorrow, the energy, the vibe, the focus is clients chase me. So what would it be like for you to run your business or your sales from a place where there is literally a wait list of people who want to come work with you? That's the shift that we're making tomorrow. So come join us, be there live, get in the membership. In the meantime, we are grateful for you. We are so excited to have you in this community in a deeper way, and to expand with you as well. So cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Much love, everyone. Take care. Bye.